Breath of the Wild was my first entry to the Zelda series, and it makes me wish I played the older games. But when you have games like Ratatouille and Duck 'Em Up on your DS, it's pretty obvious that you had a shit taste in video games as a kid. But luckily, my taste in games has been refined, and even though Breath of the Wild is 2 years old at this point, I wanted to talk about the game's Master Mode. Master Mode is basically normal mode, but instead of Zelda, you get fucking Dark Souls. I'm currently in the middle of a playthrough, and I'll tell you that even after 100 plus hours of playing the game, I've learned absolutely nothing starting this mode. That's pretty easy to tell when you die more times in the beginning of the game on your second playthrough than your first. Now you could say that this is just me being absolutely terrible at video games, and if that's the case, well, you're right, but I mean, just come on, look at this, look at this! Now what makes the beginning hard is that the enemies have a higher rank and they all regenerate health. If you notice that there's different coloured enemies, you'll see there's a hierarchy which shows what's stronger. Red stronger than blue, blue stronger than black, I am an idiot because those are the other way around, and so on. This paired with the regeneration makes for some fast-paced combat, which means you'll see this screen more times than the actual grass in the game. Now you can adapt to this in time, and it'll be all well and good until you realise that even the mini-bosses regenerate health. So if you're like me and you have the aiming skill of a pebble, you'll probably have an experience similar to this.
Why won't you die?
Eventually, even defeating these would be second nature, but you'll probably end up shitting yourself when you come across a Lynel. Lynels are one of the strongest enemies in the game, and fighting one unprepared is just guaranteed death. Now, what I tend to do in normal mode is take my time and wear them off bit by bit, but I can't do that in master mode, so I have to resort to staying on the offensive. And so far, this tactic kinda works, it's actually pretty great. Now, I wanted to end this off with a little challenge by starting fresh in Master Mode, but I didn't want to erase my save, so I was left with 3 options. Create a new Nintendo account, which was too much effort, start the Trial of the Sword DLC, which required the Master Sword, or start the Shrine Quest on Eventide Island. I decided to do that, and honestly it went pretty well. When I got on the island, I got a pretty nice view of the sail, and since I couldn't move at all I could do was marvel at its glory. As soon as I was able to, I picked up a tree branch and felt a little safer now that I had a weapon, as I now had more of a chance of surviving. This clip just speaks for itself how good I am at video games. This fight took about 10 minutes as my weapons kept breaking and the health kept regenerating. At this point I was getting impatient, so I resorted to using my bombs as my main method of attack. Move the f*** away! I came across some archers, and because I didn't have a bow myself, I thought it'd be best to proceed with caution. Again, yet another clip, which shows how good I am at video games. I remembered that metal weapons attract lightning, so I thought I'd use that to my advantage. What's wrong with me? But that method seemed to work pretty well. I did manage to defeat them, and I proceeded to go to the other mountain in order to progress, and for the most part that went well. After a while of using my bombs to throw everyone off the mountain rather than fighting them like how I'm supposed to, I came across a bokoblin partying on his own. It reminded me a lot like myself, so I decided to kill it. Though it took longer than expected, I pretty much did. After losing my sanity, I decided to go for the second door where the archers were, as I was more prepared. But I didn't know where to go afterwards, so I was just wandering around the island for 20 minutes until I found out where I was supposed to be. God damn, I hate my life. The first orb respawned on the top of the mountain, so I went to put that back in its place. After putting that back, all that was left was the last orb, which was on the neck of the Hinox. Instead of prepping my gear and getting ready to fight, I just went AFK while I waited for Mipha's grace to recover. But that also made for a nice time lapse, so everyone wins. At a certain point of fighting the Hinox, I noticed the orb fell off its neck, so I abandoned any sense of masculinity I had and ran the f*** away with the orb. After placing all 3 orbs, I got my stuff back, so I decided to fight the Hinox for real, only to realise that even with all my gear, I'm still shit at the game, as I almost died. So yeah, after that quest I came to the conclusion that Master Mode is absolute hell. 10 out of 10.